went ahead and got this piece of yoga mat glued in here. That should work pretty good. Just a little bit of protection for my right knee as it gets bounced around in there. I used spray glue, which I talked to a couple people yesterday and they recommended. They said that's all they use for gluing the foam in. And I think I tried that up in here, but I think just with the curve and the foam trying to pull away, it didn't really hold as well. And I tried to do probably too big of an area at once, and just couldn't hold it all set up, and it ended up kind of peeling off. But it worked great here, so that should be good. Still trying to figure out the throttle pedal. I'm probably going to put my seat back in there and see, it's just a foam seat that goes right here, and see what I can do about maybe either pulling a little material off the back of the seat and maybe do something with that throttle pedal. That it's just not a comfortable position to get the boat into wide open throttle. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on that. And then the other thing today too is we're probably gonna go ahead and start cleaning this bubble up, try and get that thing nice and clear so we don't have any more issues with glare from the sun while I'm racing, and we can leave the bubble on hopefully next time we race. Alright, so this is what the cockpit looks like with the seat actually in it. It's just that foam seat back there. A couple little pieces of padding here to get my height right. Very basic, very simple. 5-point harnesses here. Shoulders get strapped down. Waist belt. Submarine belt to keep everything from where it's supposed to be there. But what I'm trying to do today is kind of get myself in the boat and figure out some options on that throttle pedal assembly, and figure out maybe possibly going to this smaller steering wheel with how my knee is going to be here, and try and figure out the throttle assembly there, see if I can make something a little bit more comfortable with that, and do something with the steering wheel, figure out if I'm going to keep running the bigger steering wheel or maybe try this smaller one here. As you can see, it holds me pretty darn firm in here. Now, I may try and go down a little bit lower and still see how my vision is, because I'm pretty snug up against here with my helmet on and capsule suit and all that, so I think I can take out one more pad underneath me, and the capsule suit will kind of make up that difference and keep me right where I need to be. But really, I stay very firmly planted in here. My hips really don't move at all, especially when I'm all belted in here. And we pull these belts real tight, so I'm really pretty planted. But my problem is that when we got the steering wheel in here, I'll grab that in a minute and show y'all, but with the steering wheel is, it comes out right here, so my knee has got to stay right against the side of the cockpit here. And as I'm getting bounced around, my knee was just slamming into that side of that fiberglass cockpit there. So that's why I put this little piece of foam here. Just any movement that way should kind of help buffer it a little bit. It's not much. It's 1/8-inch padding, but it's better than nothing, I think. And the other concern I had was with these loops here that hold the bubble down. They get attached on both sides here to those pins, and that's what holds the bubble down while we're racing. Now when I had this thicker foam on this side, when I had this thicker foam out here, I cut a hole around here, but it was kind of inconvenient and not real natural to try and get that hook off. I want to be able to pop that off without even thinking about it and be able to get this bubble open if I have to get out. The other thing I think I'm going to work on today too is, it's not going to take long, but just something I need to do is I'm going to put a tennis ball on the end of my release here for my lap belt, because I had a string with a little float on it and I was able to find that. It worked real well, but I ripped the float off of it. So I'm going to probably put a tennis ball with a piece of paracord on here so I can grab that and yank my belts. Because it's, when I'm strapped in here, I really, you know, it's tight. I can't move around much, so it's not like I have a neck restraint on as well, so I can't tilt my head down like that to look at my belts and do anything with them. I can't tighten my belts up myself. I can't really look at them. You know, it's a difficult task, so I want to be able to just reach down, feel that tennis ball, yank it, and have my belts come loose, because that was something that concerned me. Out of Gunnersville was just you know, it felt like a long time. When I thought the boat was on fire, it felt like a long time trying to get out of there. It wasn't, but it sure seemed like it. But you know, of course, shoulder straps come down like this, go through the 5-point harness, lap belts tighten in, and I'm strapped into this boat. That's some pretty good thunder there. May want to go ahead and get the cover over this thing before it starts pouring rain and get cleaned up, so I don't get soaking wet. So, because it feels like there might be a storm coming in. So, I will see y'all when we get this cleared out. tired of it. I cannot take it anymore. Like 12 seconds ago, this was a well-organized little shed here. And now, this is all crap I've already pulled out. But I cannot take it. It needs to be done. Not exciting, but something to do. Lovely can of fiberglass resin, or some kind of resin, exploded in one of my crates the last time, like I figured it would, and of course spilled all over everything, like I figured it would, even though I had it in 2 bags because I figured it was going to make a mess. But it's alright. Ain't nothing but a thing, man. I had this pretty well cleaned up before the last race, and I was determined that no matter what, it was not going to turn into an absolute disaster again. And then we got home from the boat race, dumped everything in here because it was raining, and I've tripped over it ever since. That was my first attempt at a radio box. I may still try and sand that down and just see what it does. But I'm not very good at fiberglass, if you can't tell. That was the biggest problem. The reason I stopped on it is it started separating, delaminating. I had used a piece of styrofoam, actually just like that, and fiberglassed over it, and the fiberglass resin was kind of melting the styrofoam, so it started doing some funky stuff. The one I have now weighs a pound. But I don't know. We'll see. Getting back into boat racing, I really had this idea of just like a meticulous program, you know, boxes all labeled with everything that's in them, crates all labeled, everything where we can find it easily and have everything we need and not be rushing around like idiots, and that did not really work out. But we're getting there, and I still have that vision of a meticulous race program, so we will get it. I'm not giving up. And that's why it takes me so long to edit videos, because I don't actually turn the camera off when I walk away for 5 minutes. So the next race we're going to go to is Lake Hopatcong, New Jersey. That's where my wife grew up for all of her life. I lived there my last year of high school, and then another 5 years or so after that. It's a beautiful area. Unfortunately, it's in New Jersey. But the game plan is, because my father-in-law is still up there with the engine block that we were getting back from the machine shop. So the game plan is we're going to go up there a week ahead of time and just thrash to put an engine together, have it in the boat, ready to go. Hopefully we'll have no issues with parts. That's my biggest concern, is if for some reason we get screwed up with parts, bearing or something, we're going to be kind of in trouble. But hopefully everything will go smoothly there. But it's really important that we have a well-organized setup when we get up there, so we're not fussing around and messing around looking for tools, and you know, all that stuff is wasting time. Is going to add up very quickly, and we don't have a lot of time to waste on this. May get up there Monday. Probably Monday night. So we'll hang out there Tuesday. Just get to work putting this engine together. You know, I'm bringing the heads and the crank and all the internals and stuff up with me, and then we'll get, you know, because there's a lot of stuff that still has to go back in the boat now, and a lot of stuff that has to get redialed in. But we'll get it. It's going to be critical that we're organized and have everything that we need. Fortunately, we are getting there, and we got a much better idea now of what we got to do. So we're excited for it. It's coming up quick. We got a lot of work to do still. I really need to get that trailer sorted out. We have some issues with the hubs on there, and then get a few more things dialed in the boat cockpit, and then a couple other little things to do on the boat hull. But we'll get it. Just, man, it is brutal hot in Georgia still. It's 8 o'clock at night, and it is freaking almost 9 o'clock at night, and sweltering hot, especially in this little freaking shed here. But I'm not doing a dang thing until I get this shed cleaned up and organized again, so where I can work and find stuff. Kind of what I'm talking about with being organized here. We have ratchet strap, zip ties, solder, a pen, wiring, Honda push pins, shrink tube, wire terminal, really small wiring, a piece of burnt wire, random plastic bag, empty solder tube. Not organized. I think I've got an idea. And if you stare at something long enough, you're bound to come up with something. I finally realized that this pedal piece here is actually just bolted to the pedal assembly, and I could probably take that off and put this Speedway pedal on there that I've had sitting around forever. But if I take the stuff off of this, take this apart, take just the pedal, put that right there, I think that's going to work better. I hope. I don't know. But again, if you stare at something long enough, you're bound to come up with something. And I've been trying to figure it out, and then it has not been working. So there's a couple cotter pins right here that hold this lever on here, and just one bolt through the bottom. We're going to take that off, mount it on that plate. Somewhere around as high as possible, I guess. I don't know. I have to fiddle with that a little bit, but still got a little stomp pad there. I like it. I like the idea. It's gonna work. This is just a Speedway pedal, or a throttle pedal from Speedway. When I ordered the flat pedal, I either ordered two or got two by accident. I think I got two by accident and just called it a win. Probably paid for that a bunch of times and not being honest and calling them and being like, hey, you sent me two pedals. So I probably paid for this thing about 28 times over, but that's okay. You gotta learn from your mistakes. You always be honest. Always do the right thing. It will come back to you tenfold. This boat seems to just be a constant reminder of that. When we were at Gunnersville, we were talking with one of the other teams about how things just seem to work out with this boat for some reason. I mean, just little things like needing an oddball bolt that there's no way you have. There's no reason you should have one. Nobody else around you has one. And you dig through 2 or 3 toolboxes, and right when you're like, heck with it, I'll order one, wait a couple days, and dang bolt will just show up in one of like a random toolbox. That hurt. But it's just a lot of things like that with this boat. It's just very strange. I don't know if it's. I guess it's all depends upon what you believe in. If you believe in like some higher intervention, if you believe in ghosts. I don't know. What do you believe in? What do you think is making good things happen in your life? Is it just good things happen in your life because you're a good person? Does it have nothing to do with you being a good person? Could you just be a total craphead and still have lots of good things happen to you? I've seen it happen. I can pretty much guarantee that by I've said a few times with this boat, you start working on something simple on the back end of the boat, and 4 hours later you're upside down in the front of the boat, cursing like a drunken sailor, because nothing ever is a simple change. But with that said, I'm going to guess that by putting this smaller pedal here, I can mount this in a way that I can kind of angle it off to the side like that, and I could probably move this pedal assembly a full inch or so forward, and it's going to be probably 8 to 12 hours of work. I'm just guessing, in and out, upside down in the cockpit. Maybe not, maybe it'll be 2 hours, but I bet I can mount this a little differently. I can move this whole pedal assembly forward, and I'm hoping that because of the way I have that plate set up that the whole pedal assembly sits on, I might be able to just go ahead and do it right on there with adjustment, add the adjustment to it for a different driver, and have it work out perfectly. Maybe, maybe not, but we shall see. I am still trying to keep in mind having a different driver in there, because at least my brother-in-law will be driving this boat. And eventually, I guess, one day, hopefully my son will be driving this boat. We are really shooting to get a newer hull and shooting to be competitive in what we're doing. Our boat is going to be one of the oldest boats out there just about every time we go out to the races, but we are throwing a lot of power at it, and we're going to try like hell. And I got a couple screws loose, so I'm going to drive that thing. We're going to run it as fast as it'll go. So hopefully we can continue this program though with a newer hull, a more competitive hull. We're trying to, basically, we're getting out there, we're getting our names out there. The boat carries a lot of recognition, far more so than I probably ever will in this sport. The boat, the former driver, the builder of the boat, the owner, really my wife is the owner now, but the builder of the boat, carry a lot of recognition in the sport, and I just happen to be fortunate enough to kind of tag along with it. But it's really, really cool to have all the old heads come up to the boat when we get to a race and just start talking about stories and talking about Mark Johnson, the old driver, and just what a great person him and Jay Brennan, the owner, builder, have been, and how much fun they had with them guys. And the stories are just non-stop and always incredible. And I'm just very fortunate and very thankful to be a part of that. So I'm going to do my part though, and I'm going to drive that boat as hard as it'll go. I only have one race under my belt now, but I found out a couple nights ago that the actual rules of racing is I don't have to stay behind people. All I have to do is start behind people. So So now I can actually go race people, which is really awesome. I'm very excited to be able to just push that boat as hard as it'll go, and pray that I don't do anything dumb. I'm gonna do things that are not right. Hopefully I don't do anything that's dumb and dangerous. Hopefully I don't endanger anybody else, or far worse, hurt anybody else. I certainly do not want to go out there and hurt anybody else, but I do want to be very good at this, and I do want to be very good at this quickly. So I'm going to push the boat to the extent of my limits, which I think are within reach of that very safe hull, or in line with that hull, which is a very safely built hull. Jay Brennan did an excellent job. That boat handles like an absolute dream. It's incredible. You decide where you want to go and you just put the boat there. It just handles phenomenally, and it's fast. We're not going to be competitive with $1 million programs, because we don't have $1 million and we're not racing like $1 million program. But we will go out there. We will have a lot of fun every single race, and we're going to push that boat as hard as it'll go. So, there's always that chance that everybody's going to jump, or people are going to have mechanical failures, and we just may get a win under our belts with this boat. But the most important thing is we're going to go out and have a lot of fun, and we're going to try and carry on the legacy that Mark and Jay had in the late 90s and early 2000s, and just the mentality that's around that, and bring the fun back to boat racing. And hopefully y'all can come along with us for this ride and get to see every bit of it. We're going to start making a lot more content like this, and this is our first real year back out. The first year I'm driving. We had the boat out once last year, and but this program is going to grow. We're going to do well. We're going to bring a lot of attention back to boat racing, and it's just a matter of time. And if anybody's watching this, go contact Dave Newbern and tell them that Gunnersville next year I want to race a small black car and that small block boat.
2,000 years later.
Need something smooth and simple. Everything needs to work perfectly, because our program is perfect. The nut is not perfect. Really? I was putting a new damn bolt in there. Oh, fuck. Got to go, sir. Fuck that. Oh man, we'd have to be having a fit. I'm using all his damn Gelf sets as punches here and drifts. I'm sure my neighbors absolutely love me, but at least it's not grinders at 3 a.m. Not that I ever and grinders at 3 a.m. Good gracious, man. Oh, that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and put some grease in there. We're gonna put a little anti-seize in there as well. Guy I worked with that dealt with some of the most stuck bolts I've ever seen in my life. His recommendation for just about everything was grease and anti-seize. I don't know if it makes a difference, but he knew more about it than I did, so I trust him. So that's what I do. It's after 2 o'clock in the morning now, and happy that the throttle pedal assembly went pretty well, I think. The only thing I'm going to do left tonight, I'm going to eat a little bit of dinner, and I'm going to move all this stuff. This is the bigger steering wheel we're using. It's my push-to-talk button and the light receiver, and where the timer was. I'm going to try and transfer some of this stuff over to the smaller steering wheel. We're going to see how this starts to fit. Try and get an idea of what we're going to do with that. But I think the light receiver is probably going to go mounted to the boat. But we're going to start wrapping this night up for sure. Just kind of tinkering around a little bit right before I go to bed. Because I'm tired, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning and it's still hot in Georgia. I am still sweating. I am nasty. Really need to go take a shower before I go to bed. We got our pedals back in the boat here. Getting that whole plate bolts down to the boat with the throttle pedal assembly bracket bolted to that. And that's our flap there. And this is going to be our throttle. That's a whole lot more comfortable, a whole lot easier for me to know that I'm at 100% throttle there. I can still kind of tuck my foot in there a little bit, hold it wide open, and it's just much better setup there. I like that a whole lot better, and I can still come in like this. I can get on a little sideways there. Even just rest my foot right like that. But let's probably bounce off that real quick. But whole lot better setup like that. So much happier with that. That worked out really well. And yeah, it worked out pretty good. I like it. So on to the last couple things we're going to be thinking of. And again, I'm going to be using the smaller steering wheel in Jersey too, so we'll have a little bit more room here. Figured out how to get the timer mounted on there. That should be okay. I'm going to put one more zip tie on the bottom when we actually use it. Got my push to talk on there, so that should be good. Now what I have here, this is called a light receiver, and what this does is hook up to a control box at the race site, and this will actually light up with what color the flags are. So if it's a red flag, this will light up red. If it's green, you'll get a green flag, white flag, and then it'll flash at the end when a checker flag flies. But I gotta find a place to put this. I was thinking about originally zip tying it to the steering wheel, but the steering wheel's already a little cluttered there. I may still be able to do something like that. It may still be the easiest thing to do. I don't know. We'll find out. But what I'm going to try and do now is I got some Velcro. I'm going to see if maybe I can find a spot to Velcro it, like right there maybe. But I should still be able to see what color it is. It won't be super obvious, but I should still be able to see it. The other thing is I could maybe do something like that where it kind of, oh, maybe it'll, does it light up enough where I can kind of see it. Quick look down, ought to be able to tell what color it is. Probably not the best option. Fortunately, we're pretty much out of room up here. Oh, maybe that is the best option, something like that. Of course, I don't want to be looking down that far when I don't even like looking down at the damn gauges. Should I build a bracket over here? Something like that. Maybe build a bracket, but then my legs are going to be in there if we get bounced around a bunch. But that's one of the things I'm trying to figure out here. The other thing is I've got an old shift light here that I had to tinker around with. Been dragging this thing around for 10 or 12 years just for the idea of using it as an oil pressure light, and really it's too big. The bulb was blown, didn't work in it, so I had to take an LED out of another light. Well, it's turned into quite a little pain in the butt, and really it's kind of too darn big for here. But I may still try and use it. Probably still gonna try and use it because I spent so much dang time looking for it. I may just do something like that right there. Got a little piece of aluminum angle. Maybe I can mount it right like that into that bolt there. I can see it. Hopefully my leg don't hit it too much. I don't know if I like that. I'd really like to have it right there. But the other thing I was thinking is it is just a small LED in here, so I may shorten this tube up some and try and shorten this thing by about 2.5 inches and see if I like that better, because I think I'll like that better, and it would probably make it easier to mount. So I'm gonna go fiddle with that in a couple minutes. But I'd really like to figure out where to put this dang light saver. I think, unfortunately, kind of the best spot's going to be like right. Man, that thing's just awkward to see. Something like that, where it's at least kind of in line with the gauges. So that should still be kind of easy enough to see. And of course, like, you see how bright that thing is, you can notice it for sure. And you can adjust the brightness on these. So we may have to do that, may not. But you can see that joker lights up like pretty damn bright. So I think if I put it there, I will be relatively in line with the gauges, so I can kind of see the light seaver and the gauges all in one quick glance. Just right in line with my timer as well, because we do a clock start. We have a 5-minute warm-up period, and we have to be at the start-finish line at 0 on the timer. So that will be all kind of in the same point of vision when I look down. Oh, excuse me. That'll all kind of be in the same point of vision when I look down. You know, normal point of vision's here. Quick glance at gauges, timer, light receiver, back up to racing. And we'll be looking left most of the time. So, well, at least on the turns. Again, quick glance at gauges, timer, light receiver, see everything in one shot and right back up. So, I think that'll work. We're gonna do that. Okay. I'm just gonna wipe that down. A little bit of brake cleaner right there where I'm gonna stick this light receiver so it's nice and clean. Because we want that, really hoping that Velcro and that adhesive really sticks well to this. It'd be a pain in the ass if it doesn't. That's kind of like the flattest spot right there. I think that'll be okay. And then I just laid the Velcro back over itself here. So it's going to be in the spot it's going to be on this thing. Right there. And hopefully that's a good spot for it to go. And that's where it's going. That'll stay there. That can clip that on there. And hopefully that'll hold well. We'll find out. If not, I'll be kicking it around by my feet. Or something. But, the light receiver itself clips out of there, so that mount can kind of stay there. Worst comes to worst, we can always put a couple screws in there. There is a gap here in the cockpit, so we can actually put a screw there if we had to. Try not to do that if I don't have to. So, but there's that. One last little thing. Let's go see if we can shorten up this light. And it's going to be dark here pretty soon, so filming inside the boat's probably not going to be worth the darn. I am glad that the steering wheel option worked out. Pretty stoked with that. We'll see how it goes, but I'm pretty happy with it.